Well, hello there. It's gonna be a clear view in a second. When he isn't around, I'll talk like this. Makes it much easier. But episode 5 of not episode 5, episode 2 of Jojo's part 5 has come out and graced our eyeballs, our ears. It's visual media. Let me give my thoughts and my quick review of the episode. So, the episode starts with a bit of backstory for our protagonist. I have to say, during episode 1, which I'm not doing a review of because it came out months ago, so if you wanted a review of it, you would have watched it by now. So, we find out, I'm just gonna say it outright. Not a big fan of Giorno's character. Not saying he's a bad character. Welcome to like it. Not my kind of thing, though, unfortunately. So, with every other main protagonist in JoJo's, by episode 1, I usually like him. I will admit, Jonathan took me to about the end of the episode, but by the end I was like on board with this guy. Giorno, I like him more. By the end of this episode, I like him a lot more. Bloody hell. I do like him a lot more at the end of this episode. But this episode, we get some backstory for him. We find out he had a pretty troubled childhood, as seems to be most JoJo's protagonists have nowadays. Of course, Theo being his dad, he didn't have a father for the first few years of his life, and turns out his mom was his mom. I'm American now, apparently. No, his mother was a fot. Was a big fot. So she wasn't really around to raise Giorno, or as he was called then, Haruno. I had to look that up for a second. But eventually his mother married someone and became Haruno's stepfather, and he beat Haruno quite often. But he also taught Haruno how to read people's moods. So that's something, I guess. Of course, being this kind of sad backstory, he was bullied a lot, but eventually, on one fateful day, he saves a gangster from being killed, and this gangster endeavours to make Haruno's life much, much better. And somewhere between here, we learn that Haruno, now Giorno, respects gangsters above anything else, that all the politicians in the city are incredibly corrupt, and the police equally so. The gangsters seem to be the only ones holding any form of order. So then we cut to present day, and we basically have the what happened at the end of the previous episode, the whole beginnings of the fight between Bruno and Giorno. Similar names, hey. I'm going to keep doing that throughout this, so get used to it. We learn here that apparently Jojo's never actually fought another human being using gold experience, so this is his first ever fight. And we discover his stand ability isn't just being able to give life to inanimate objects. It's whenever he strikes an opponent, he can cause their senses, their consciousness to go berserk. So they'll perceive them having superhuman strength, speed, and reactions. The world seems slow around them, but in reality, their body is still moving in natural time without them in control. So, of course, Giorno is able to get a few free hits in. Once Bruno realises that Giorno is much more of a threat than he initially perceived him to be, he fully summons his stand, Zipperman. Yeah, this is going to be one of those weird sub issues, translation problems, copyright, all that crap. So apparently, instead of being Sticky Fingers, it's called Zipperman. Not gonna lie, Sticky Fingers. Sticky Fingers sounds just as stupid, but at least sounds a bit cooler. But their stands begin to clash, and it seems that Sticky Fingers has a bit of an advantage over Gold Experience. But Bruno does resolve to retreat for the time being. Jono, of course, runs after him, but Bruno is able to escape into the body of a bystander. At least Jono suspects he has. So Jono sends a fly to follow other bystanders, but we can assume that he sent flies to follow some of the other bystanders as well. And the bystander, a kid, swats away at the fly, hits it, and of course Jono's gold experience stand ability kicks in and reflects the attack back on to the kid and back onto Bruno, who exits the kid's body, and with Jono standing there like, ah yes, I knew you'd enter this one. So the two continue their battle, and Jono's able to land a hit onto Bruno's arm, but Bruno seems to be unaffected and is able to land a decisive counter, getting many zips off onto Jono's body. Bruno reveals, it's not my arm, but it's the kid on the floor's arm, so you really did nothing to me. So Bruno goes in to finish off Jono, but Jono rips his arm off after the zipper to gain extended range for gold experience and sends Bruno's senses berserk again. But instead of finishing Bruno off, Jono simply walks past and ignores him, just to see if the kid's okay. And when Bruno asks this, Jono says, "Oh, you're a good person, I can tell." To be honest, because I was kind of maybe writing the notes I was watching, I didn't quite catch his reasoning, but it seems to be that something to do with the kid and all that. This is a quick review, not too scripted if you couldn't tell. I've only watched episode once. Don't sue me, please. But Jono reveals that he's going to become the boss of the town, the head gangster, and he wants Bruno to join him. And that's where the episode ends. So, where do we go from here? Well, we're going to follow Jono's adventures to become the big gang boss, the big leader of the city, I guess. And it'd be cool to see his adventures going forward. I haven't read the manga, so I have no clue what's going on. Didn't see any Koichi or Jojos episode like we did in episode 1, which I was actually surprised to see them. But yeah, that was basically it. We just had the fight between Bruno and Jono and some Jono backstory. So I can't wait to see what we get next week. If there was a preview, I didn't see it because the way I was watching it didn't give a preview. So if there was a preview and I missed something, don't blame me. But yeah, so I guess I'll see you next week with episode 3 and whatever happens then. I am the masked figure, and I'll see you next week.